Here I have an expression, once again, that I want to simplify and state restrictions on the variable, if there are any indeed. So looking here, I'm going to work with my numerator and denominator at the same time, but separately. So starting off with my numerator, I notice that it is a simple trinomial because there is a 1 in front of the x squared, which is not written but implicit. And I'm going to factor it in such a way that I find two numbers that add to give me positive 7 and multiply to give me negative 8. So those two numbers happen to be positive 8 and negative 1, x minus 1. Again, 8 times negative 1 is negative 8. 8 minus 1 is positive 7. So those numbers work. In the denominator, well, I have a positive 2 as a common factor, and I'm left with 1 minus x, close bracket. Now on face value, you'd look here and say, well, I don't think I can cancel anything out, but you will remember, well, hopefully you do, there is a little rule that we can use when interchanging the terms in a binomial that are separated by a negative sign. And the reason why I'm looking at that is because you'll notice here this x minus 1 and 1 minus x are almost identical, except for the fact that the order is reversed. So here's what I'm going to do. I want to write 1 minus x so that I have x minus 1 in front. I want to have it as x minus 1. And the way I can do that is by putting a negative in front of the brackets that I introduce into the expression. So what happens now, I'm just going to copy this to simplify my work a little bit. Paste that here, because most of this expression stays the same. But what happens now is that this binomial at the bottom, instead of 1 minus x, becomes x minus 1. And that negative that we talked about, I'm going to put it in front of the negative, in front of the 2 outside the bracket. Now in this way, first of all, I want to identify the restrictions. And I notice that x cannot be equal to 1. And secondly, I notice that I can cancel something here. The x minus 1 cancels itself. So my final answer is going to be x plus 8 all over negative 2. And the restriction was x, well, you know what? We don't have to write it again. And the brackets at the top we can drop. But yeah, your answer is x plus 8 all over negative 2. And that seems to work out